Hi, my name is Cindy Rang with the Fabric Patch in Ephrata, Washington. You can find us at fabricpatch.net, and today we're working on our Westport block of the month. All right, it's block number 7, and number 7 is really similar to block number 6 in that we're just going to make a couple of cat's cradle blocks and then some square and a square blocks, and we'll put the whole thing together. So you should have a Westport pattern. If you don't, it would be difficult for you to be able to do this, but we're going to work through this together. We are on block number 7. We've also done most of our setting blocks. Maybe you're still working on block number 11 and block number 12. Block number 7, the one I'm going to do today, I'm just going to show you. It's right here. And this is the twin size, so we have 2 of them in this block. In this quilt. If you're doing a king size, then you will end up making 3 of them. If you've bought the fabric kit from us, these are the colors that she's going to suggest that you cut, because they are packaged the same as the same way that she wrote the pattern. She picked all of the fabrics, worked with Hoffman to select all of these colors, and in her pattern she has the whole thing in here. If you've decided to use your own fabrics, then it's kind of nice because you'll have a little opportunity to mark which fabrics you're using. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to it, and let's start talking about cutting. All right, so here's your pattern, and again, this is your little color thing, because she consistently says in there that if you're using your background and fabric number 4, fabric number 6, fabric number 9, fabric number 11, if you kind of want to monitor that and make sure that you're using the right fabrics, or whatever the right fabrics mean to you, it'll all line up the same. So if we're looking at our cutting, she does have you start with your background to do your half square triangle triangles, and we've cut these in most of our previous blocks, so we're not going to go through that again. You just start with your strip, you use your little triangle ruler, and you cut all of these little units, and these are 2-inch half square triangle blocks, and we're going to be using these for our cat's cradle block, which you can see right here. There's 1 in each corner. We're also going to be using these blocks for our square and a square, and that's a square and a square here, 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 and then we have another one that we're doing right there in the center. The other thing that she talks about cutting is those rectangles that go around your block, and we mention this every time that I tend to cut those a tiny smidge bigger just in case I need a little bit of help when I'm trimming everything up. I might just need a little bit of insurance to make sure all of my blocks fit properly, and we'll talk about that in our last class. So I cut those a little differently. Fabric number 4, you're cutting some more half square triangle blocks. These are 3.5-inch triangles. And then fabric number 6, you're cutting your 2-inch half square triangles, and this is for your center block here. Here's your little squares. These are your outside squares here. And then finally, these, I think these were 2 5/8 inch squares, and those are the 5 center ones here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start. In terms of her piecing, we're going to do the same thing that she did, which is start by making our cat's cradle block. And our cat's cradle block, it's exactly what we did in block number 6. So if you have to refer back to that, we're going to make 4 blocks. We're going to do it the exact same way. So we're just going to go ahead and sew this one on. So starting here, have our excess right there, press that one open, put this one on, sew our 1/4-inch seam allowance, press that one open, and then what will happen is you'll end up with that nice little 1/4-inch seam allowance here, here, and here. We'll end up showing you that. After you do that, you're going to sew this one on, right sides together, press that one open, and that's what's going to give you your cat's cradle block. Hey, I want to correct something. I said that you were going to have a 1/4-inch seam allowance on both of these edges, but of course you don't. This is just a square. I was just remembering that when we did block number 6 last time, we had to have that because we had a, where is it? There it is. We had our little half square triangle in there, and we wanted to make sure our points came out. So this one looks different because it's a square instead of a half square triangle unit. I'm thinking you won't be able to see this, but just a little reminder that when you're sewing your 1/4 inch seam allowance, you're going to start right at that point. You are going to sew through the little X that you end up seeing from the stitching as you sew right through there, and then you sew off of that point. And then when you end up pressing it, what happens is you can see that you have ended up right on that point, which is right where you want to be. Okay, just a little reminder that you want to clip off any dog ears that you have. Just a reminder because we don't like that to be part of our seam allowance. All right, after you've made your 4 cat's cradle blocks, we're going to move on to our square and a square blocks. And what will happen is there's that little trick, because what you're doing is you're sewing these guys on. And when you're sewing these on, you kind of want to know where to put that. So we did this back in block number 5, and what we did is you're just going to take your little square and you're going to press it in half and in half again. What that's going to do is give you a line. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a little line there. Then when I line that up, I can line that up right with the point, and I'll know right where to sew that. So I'm going to sew that one on, line this one up so that that point is right on that line. Sew that one on, press it open. Sometimes you'll have to repress, but that's the easiest way to make sure your square in a square isn't wonky. So I'm going to do that with my medium, and then with my other 4, I'm doing it with my background color. We're going to piece those, and we'll be right back and put this together. Okay, here's your 3 units. So you've got your cat's cradle block, you've got your square and a square with the background around it, and then your square and a square with your medium. And I just wanted to, again, just remind you that we always clip off our little dog ears because we don't want those to be part of the seam allowance. All right, so I'm going to show you the block up close. Okay, here it is. So again, it's just your basic 9 patch, right? So we've got our 4 cat's cradle blocks in the corner. We have our 4 square and a square with the background on the outside edges, and our square in a square with the medium in the center. You're just going to sew your 9 patch together by sewing, and it really doesn't matter if you sew your horizontal rows first and then sew your vertical rows, or your vertical rows first. It doesn't make any difference. Sew your 9 patch together, press it, and then of course this is our little outside coping block border, and she's telling you in the pattern to cut that 1.5 inches, but I've been cutting mine a little bit bigger just so I have that little bit of insurance, so that when it comes time to press and square up these blocks, I have a little bit of extra room if I need it. All right, so that concludes block number 7. Our next one is block number 8. We're going to do a couple more cat's cradle blocks in block number 8 and some 1/4 square triangle blocks. So I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you for watching our video. We invite you to leave a comment, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also visit our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest pages, or find all of those things and our online store at fabricpatch.net.